"Don't be upset, sweetheart. We won't be able to make it," Mom texted, a confetti emoji tacked on like a pat on the head. Dad followed, "Promotion parties are for kids. Be humble." Then my brother chimed in, "Rain check. Big night for me." The screen glowed in my empty apartment, brighter than the single candle I'd stuck in a store-bought cupcake. The air tasted like cold tea and printer ink from the certificate I'd brought home from HR. I'd rehearsed a toast in my head. It dissolved into the hum of the fridge and the click of pipes. "It shouldn't hurt at this age." It did. "Hi everyone, my name is Arden Vale. And I am very good at pretending something doesn't hurt, until the pretending becomes the wound." I scrolled because of course I did. 3 hours later. Instagram stories blooming like sparklers. Family dinner. Mom's caption over a crowded table. Laughter. Plates. A cake with my brother's initials piped in gold. Then a reveal, ribbon, showroom lights, my brother's grin so wide it could split the city. A new car. Their cheers blurred. Mine never had a chance to exist. I stared at the single folding chair I'd set up by the window, the one I used when I needed space to think. It looked like an empty seat at a play where the lead never shows. 4 years of me wiring rent to their duplex, just until your brother gets on his feet. For winters of "we'll pay you back when tax season hits." For summers of "you know we're proud, right?" Pride never once covered the bill. My phone buzzed again, another story. Mom leaning into the hood's reflection typing "blessed." I pressed my thumbnail into the cupcake's paper wrapper until it tore, a crescent moon of foil under my nail. In the sink, a single spoon waited like a witness. I heard the radiator breathe. I counted to 5 the way I do before hard emails. I opened our family group chat. Typed slowly, carefully, like writing my name on wet glass. "Let him pay it." I hovered on send, the cursor blinking like a tiny heartbeat. Out on the street, someone laughed. Inside, the chair's shadow made a second Arden on the wall, steadier than me. My reflection in the window looked like a woman holding a quiet match. I hit send. The message slid upward, small and final. And in the silence afterward, thin, electric, righteous. My phone lit once, twice, as if the night itself had taken a breath and decided to speak back. The first call came at 6:03 a.m. Then another. And another. 94 in total before I even made coffee. I watched the screen flash "Mom, Dad, Home, Cody, Cell" over and over like some broken carousel. I didn't pick up. The silence in my apartment felt expensive. The kind you buy with peace of mind and 4 overdue payments. Last night's text, "Let him pay it," had detonated somewhere between their dinner table and his shiny new dashboard. I imagined them scrambling, calling the landlord, realizing the rent I'd been quietly covering for years wasn't a God-given subsidy but a daughter's loyalty they'd mistaken for obligation. The messages started next. "Honey, what's going on? You know we're family. Your brother doesn't have that kind of money yet. We thought you understood." Each one landed softer than the last, like guilt losing its voice. I walked to the window. The city was barely awake, thin morning light dripping down rooftops. A bus hissed by, doors sighing open. Somewhere out there people were just starting their days, unknowing that mine had already shifted. My coffee tasted stronger than usual, almost defiant. I let the bitterness sit on my tongue and thought about every maybe next time, every "you're doing so well for yourself," that had really meant you don't need us anymore. A memory rose. Mom counting envelopes at the kitchen table whispering, "We'll pay you back, Arden. You're our angel." I'd believed her. Angels don't send invoices. But they can stop showing up. By 9 a.m. the missed calls stopped. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was earned. My chest felt lighter as if someone had untied a string around my ribs. Then came the message that didn't fit the pattern. From Cody. "Can we talk? It's not what you think." I stared at his name, at the little gray bubble pulsing like a guilty heartbeat. Outside, the sunlight broke through and caught on the rim of my coffee cup, a sharp glint of gold. I set the mug down. The sound echoed in the quiet room, small, deliberate, like the start of something I should have done years ago. I didn't reply to Cody. Not yet. For once, I wanted the silence to belong to me. By noon, I was walking through downtown with my phone flipped face down in my pocket. The October air had that brittle chill that smells like copper and dust. Every step felt like the first breath after surfacing from deep water. In a shop window I caught my reflection, the version of me they never bothered to see. Blazer pressed, eyes steady, Woman who didn't crumble when forgotten. The sign behind my reflection read, "Congratulations, Regional Director." It almost looked like the words belonged to her. A notification buzzed. This time from Mom. "Your father's blood pressure's up. He's worried sick." Classic tactic. Concern as currency. I knew the rhythm by heart. Guilt, nostalgia, obligation. They taught me how to spell family in debt and quiet endurance. So I went home. Opened the old rent receipt folder. Every transfer, every month, neatly printed. I kept them all like a scrapbook of invisible devotion. I took a photo of the last one, 4 years of proof, and sent it to the family group chat with no caption. 10 minutes later, Cody called again. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Arden," he began, voice cautious. "You know I didn't ask them to get the car." I cut in. "No. But you didn't stop them either." He sighed. "They thought it would be a surprise for me. You know how they are." "Yes," I said softly. "I do. They celebrate what's convenient and ignore what's earned." Silence. Then a fragile confession slipped out of him. "They used your account again this month. For the down payment." I told them to wait, but my hand went cold around the phone. The radiator clicked once like punctuation. "Thank you for confirming," I said. "Arden, please." But I'd already hung up. Outside, clouds gathered like bruises. My reflection in the window blurred, and I caught myself whispering almost like a prayer. "I'm done funding my own erasure." In that moment, the quiet didn't hurt, it healed. That night, I opened my laptop. The soft blue light painted the walls in calm defiance. I logged into my online banking, the same account my parents had access to, the one I used to help them stay afloat. Each transaction told a story I already knew too well. Insurance for the duplex. Cody's utility bills. Mom's hair appointment. And the down payment Cody had just confessed, sitting there in bold, unapologetic numbers. 4 years of love disguised as maintenance fees. 4 years of silence masquerading as respect. My cursor hovered over the Manage Access tab. My heartbeat synced with the sound of my old ceiling fan. Slow, deliberate, certain. I clicked Remove Authorization. A small pop-up appeared. "Are you sure?" I smiled for the first time that day. "I've never been more sure," I whispered. The confirmation message blinked like a small flame on a dark lake. Access removed. 5 minutes later, a call from Mom. I let it ring. Then another from Dad. When I didn't answer, the texts came. "What did you do, Arden? We needed that money for bills. You can't just cut family off like that. Your brother's car payment is due tomorrow." I stared at the last line. His car payment. 4 years of covering rent. 4 years of skipped birthdays. And now I was supposed to fund his luxury? I typed back. "You made a choice. So did I." Then for good measure I blocked the group chat. The quiet that followed wasn't cruel. It was sacred. I stood by the window, the city glowing beneath me, headlights smearing gold across the glass. For the first time in years, I felt the air inside my apartment belonged to me. I thought about how easily I'd mistaken giving for belonging. How I'd confused being needed with being loved. In the distance, thunder rolled, soft, promising. I whispered into the night, maybe storms aren't warnings. Maybe they're clean slates. And for the first time I didn't flinch when my phone stayed dark. By morning the storm had broken for real. Rain streaked down my window like the sky had been waiting to react for me. I sat on the couch with my laptop open, watching water blur the city lights. For once I didn't feel guilty for taking space. An email. Subject line, urgent, from Dad. "We just got a notice from the landlord. He says rent is overdue. We thought you'd taken care of it like always. What are we supposed to do now? Your brother's still looking for work. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be." I read it twice. No sorry. No thank you. Just panic disguised as entitlement. I typed back slowly. "Dad, for 4 years I've been paying for a house I don't live in. For a brother older than me who refuses to work. For 2 parents who attend every celebration except mine. Maybe it's time you remember how to stand on your own." My fingers trembled as I hit send. Not from doubt, just the weight of 4 years unspoken finally leaving my chest. 5 minutes later my phone buzzed. A new notification. Instagram again. Mom had posted a story. "Tough times reveal true colors," it read over a black background. Then a second story, family above all. I laughed. Not the bitter kind, just small and tired. I replied privately. Exactly. That's what I was doing all along. I turned off my phone and walked outside. The rain met my face like applause. I could almost hear the echo of old dinners, laughter that didn't include me, birthdays spent behind the camera instead of in front of it. Now it was quiet. And somewhere between the thunder and the wind I realized, silence wasn't punishment. It was proof that I'd stopped asking to be heard by people who'd never wanted to listen. I pulled my coat tighter, the air cold and clean around me, and whispered into it. Freedom feels nothing like revenge, but maybe it's better. The next day my phone stayed silent until noon. Then a single message appeared from an unknown number. Arden, it's Cody. They're freaking out. Dad says they might lose the place. Can we talk? Please don't let them drag me into this. I stared at the message for a long time. The irony stung. He was already in it, whether he admitted it or not. I almost deleted it, but instead I typed. You're their son too. You're just used to different math. I pay you, stay. No reply. Just the little scene checkmark. I spent the afternoon at work pretending everything was normal. My team surprised me with a late celebration. Confetti, cake, laughter. Real laughter, the kind that doesn't sting. I blew out the candle and realized I hadn't wished for anything. Maybe because I didn't need to anymore. When I got home, the voicemail light blinked red. 5 new messages. I pressed play. Mom's voice first, sharp and rehearsed. You're tearing this family apart. Then Dad's shaky. You'll regret this. Families help each other. And finally Cody, quiet. They're blaming me. I didn't ask for your help, Arden. But I can't fix what you broke. I leaned against the wall, listening to my own breathing between their words. They thought I broke something. Maybe I did. Just not what they imagined. That night I logged into my landlord account. The duplex lease was in my name. I wrote a short message. Please transfer payment responsibility to Daniel and Laura Vale, effective immediately. I will no longer be the guarantor. 1 click. 1 line. 4 years undone. Outside, the streetlight flickered once and steadied, like even the world approved of boundaries finally drawn. I poured myself a glass of water and watched the ripples fade. For the first time I didn't feel like the quiet daughter or the backup provider. I felt like a woman who had simply chosen herself, and survived the noise that followed. By the weekend the messages slowed to a drizzle. Guilt has a way of exhausting even the most persistent people. But on Sunday afternoon I got an email that stopped me mid-sip of tea. Subject: Eviction Notice, Unit 2A. My parents' address. The one I'd covered since grad school. I read the whole letter twice. The landlord confirming what I already knew would happen. Without my payments they'd have to face the reality they'd built. I wasn't angry. Just hollow. Like standing in an empty theater after everyone's gone home, echoes still floating. Then came another buzz. Cody again. They're packing, Arden. Dad's losing it. Mom keeps saying you'll come around. Please. Just talk to them. I typed, then erased, then typed again. Tell them I wish them well. But this was always their house, not my responsibility. He didn't answer. Instead, a few minutes later my phone lit up again. An Instagram notification. Family through thick and thin, red heart, posted by Mom, a photo of them sitting on packed boxes. She always knew how to turn tragedy into theater. I stared at the screen, then shut it off. That night I drove past the duplex one last time. The porch light flickered the same way it always had. Dim, inconsistent, stubborn. Their car sat in the driveway, trunk open, boxes spilling like secrets. I didn't stop. But I did roll the window down. The cool air carried the faint sound of arguing, of memory, of things breaking inside that I'd spent years trying to hold together. I whispered to no one, "You taught me how to pay for peace. I just finally learned the right currency." As I turned the corner, the streetlights shimmered on the wet road, and for the first time I didn't look back. The guilt was gone, replaced by something quieter, stronger. A stillness that felt like forgiveness. But not for them. For me. The next morning, sunlight spilled through my blinds, warm, steady, unbothered. For the first time in years I didn't wake up to a barrage of messages. The silence was clean. I brewed coffee and opened my laptop. An email sat in my inbox from Cody. The subject line read simply, "I'm sorry." Inside he wrote, "You were right. I didn't see how much you carried. They're angry, but I think deep down they know they pushed too far. I just wanted you to know I finally got a job offer. I'll start paying them back. For a moment I just stared at the screen. The words didn't erase the years, but they landed gently. Like the world was slowly realigning, even if the pieces didn't fit perfectly anymore. I replied, "Good. Build your own life, Cody. It's the only way any of us ever learn." Then I closed the laptop and stood by the window watching people hurry through the morning. Suits, coffee cups, dogs on leashes. Ordinary life. Mine finally included. Later that week, my promotion ceremony photo appeared on the company page. Comments poured in, "Well deserved, so proud, inspiring story." For once the word family wasn't tied to the wrong people. It was tied to community, to respect earned by effort, not bloodline. That night I lit a small candle, not for celebration but closure. The flame bent in the draft, steadying itself like I had. The apartment felt different now, not empty, just honest. I scrolled back through my messages, through the history of unreturned calls and unanswered sacrifices, and then deleted them all. Every last thread. When the confirmation prompt appeared, "Are you sure?" I smiled. "Yes," I whispered, voice steady. "I'm finally sure." Outside, the moon hung low and gold, the same hue as the candle flame. Somewhere, miles away, they were probably still trying to rewrite the story. But this version, this ending, belonged to me. I took one deep breath, exhaled the last of the bitterness, and whispered the only word that felt right.